Hi, everyone. Oh, where's my going here? Okay. So, since the last live stream didn't work out too well, it worked out well, but the audio wasn't on my side. I decided we're gonna do another one. One of my favorite topics is the subconscious mind and actually understanding what we don't know, because we don't know what we don't know, and that's where often our biggest power lies, and where often we have the biggest opportunity to change, right? Mm, so, okay, let me see. Can we get more comfortable here? Yay, this works almost. So, where do we start? See, we take in 11 million bits of information, but we can only process 16 bits. 16 out of 11 million. That's 10,999,984 bits that we take in, but we're not subconsciously aware of. So our actions every day are determined by those almost 11 million bits, and only 16% are conscious. So we think we're taking decisions, we think we're making active decisions, but trust me, 99% of that is subconscious, right? So if you want to truly change behaviors, get different outcomes, achieve different goals, the old adage goes that you can't, if you want to get different results, you need to keep doing things different. You need to start doing things differently, right? So, and in order to do things differently, we need to understand what is it actually that we have been doing the whole time that's not serving us, right? What programs are running in our minds? What stories are we telling ourselves that might not be helpful to us, that might not be beneficial to us, that we should let go of, right? And a lot of times what we do see is that once we get to this subconscious part, once we get to understanding, hey, here's what I didn't know, here is how I've actually been operating the whole time, then we can change everything else and we can start to change, right? And the easiest way is to notice that, right? And because quite often people would ask me, is like, hey, okay, so how do I notice it actually, right? How do I know what I don't know, right? And so the first step is to actually look at when are you not feeling well, right? When are you not feeling well, and why are you feeling unwell? When are you starting to feel low on energy? When are you feeling like energy is just flowing out of you, right? And you're not getting anything back. These are the moments when you know that you should change something. You're not in your ideal state, right? Because our ideal state of being is health. Our body always wants to be healthy. I think this is what people need to understand. Our bodies never want to be sick. Our body and our mind always wants to be healthy. So anything it does, anything it tells you to do or shows you is to tell you, hey, either you need more rest, right? Or you need to do more of XYZ, or hey, I need this in order to be healthy again, right? So in order to notice these like 10,999,984 pieces of information, you need to start to understand when you're not feeling well. Be honest about that, right? Don't judge yourself. It happens to every single person, right? But be honest about it. Be frank to yourself about it. You don't need to tell anybody about that, right? But notice it. Hey, when I'm telling XYZ story about another person, do I actually feel better or do I feel worse, right? That often happens with gossip, right? People keep sharing gossip because it triggers that, like, hey, there could be something dangerous, so I need to be aware of this mode, right? And then we also try to fit into other people. But sharing gossip about anybody doesn't help, right? It doesn't help us these days anymore because we're not really in danger by anything, right? So once you're aware of what might not be going the way you'd want it to, how do you bring it to your conscious mind and actually change it? Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. First of all, just focus on noticing it. And once you've noticed it, then you can change it, right? So the first step to changing it might be replacing it with just a positive belief, right? instead of, for example, thinking, oh, but if I travel more, like I don't want to travel more because other countries are so dangerous. Well, the first step I would take is say, you know what? Other countries are actually pretty safe. And I can tell you that from experience because I've seen more than half of the world by now. Other countries are really safe, right? But first of all, you need to tell yourself a different story because the stories we tell ourselves determine how we'll perceive the world. If we keep telling our brain other countries are dangerous, then that's what we literally keep looking out for, right? But if we keep telling ourselves, hey, other countries are safe, it is safe for me to go to other places, there's always nice people, then our brain will automatically look out for that, right? Because remember, when you're telling yourself that consciously, then you can start pretty much almost like with a remote control, right? Start navigating where your subconsciousness goes when you're not paying active attention, right? So change your story, change your life. I'm sure somebody has said that before because I can't imagine that I'm the first one saying this. But really, the stories we tell ourselves determine how the world is. And you can also think about it from that perspective. We all were born the same, pretty much. But how we think, how we approach life is different because we all grew up differently, right? We all grew up with different stories, right? We all were educated in different ways. And so that's why certain things were easier for others than for us, right? Because they grew up doing other things. They grew up thinking in a different way, right? Yes, there are some people who are richer, who are poorer, okay, but finding a common ground, people everywhere in the world want the same: peace, happiness, roof over their head, food, be healthy, right? And then how we achieve that, that's how we go differently about it. And that is based on how we grew up, right? The beliefs that we adopted, the behaviors that we adopted, right? The behaviors that we inherited, right? So of course, changing your behavior or changing your beliefs also includes letting go of maybe generational beliefs and behaviors that you've had, right? Generational thought patterns, right? Which are things that your parents, your grandparents used to say. Do they still serve you? Or do they actually just block you, right? And it's up to you to change that now. There's no blaming on how you grew up or what your parents did. Your parents did the best they could. And your parents were the best parents that you could have. And this is something you need to find peace with, right? And only when you find peace with that, you do not judge your parents anymore. When you found peace with that, then you can move on and really change whatever you want to change in your life, right? So, a short rant on the subconscious mind. Let me know in the comments below, what's a belief you want to change? What's a behavior you want to change? Right? And let's get the conversation started.